Hey, how are you? Welcome to the introduction to A Disciple's Guide to Read the Bible. My name is Philip Jones, and I'm excited about this opportunity to record these videos to walk you through this process. This is something I have been working on in various formats for a few years now, and this is the first time I'm getting this on a video format to hopefully get it out to a few more people and discipleship groups that hopefully this can be helpful to you. But before we get into the details, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever done something that has required a significant amount of practice for you to get good at, or to improve to an extent that you feel like you're actually not wasting your time doing whatever it is you're doing? Maybe it's a hobby that you've really invested in. Maybe it's your job that you've spent hours training and studying for and practicing so that you are good at your vocation. Or maybe it's something else that comes to mind. I know here in Kentucky, we like our basketball, and it's basketball season right now. And when we watch those young men play basketball, they're able to do amazing things on the court. But if you went back, say, 15 years and watched them play basketball, when they first started out, they would barely be able to dribble. They would barely be able to shoot. But as they grew, as they practiced, and they were able to take the God-given ability that they have and become really good at basketball through a lot of hard work, through a lot of practice. And I ask this question because I wonder how many of us can relate to this when it comes to reading our Bibles. That some people, you may want to read your Bible, you may want to understand it, but you've never gotten to that point because you've never taken the time to study, to practice, to do the things that are needed to grow in that skill. And so as we think about that, I want to let you know that the read process, that this is designed, and these lessons are designed to help you practice. That if you're someone that you don't know much about the Bible, you don't know the difference between Genesis or Job, you don't know who Mark is versus who Malachi is, the read process will help you get started. And if you want to get proficient, the read process will help you practice. It's going to get you started, and hopefully it'll give you the opportunity to get with someone who does know a little bit more about the Bible, and then they can help you as well, so that as you practice and as you grow, you will become better at reading, understanding, and applying the Bible. And so what makes the read process maybe a little bit different than some other Bible reading methods or processes that are out there is one thing I've already hinted at, is this is really designed to be used by people who have very little knowledge of the Bible, but at the same time, it can be expanded so that it can be used by someone who knows the Bible in the original languages, or someone who would be considered a Bible expert, that they can still use this method to read, understand, and apply the Bible. And because of the flexibility of the read process, the second advantage, or the second thing that really I've tried to focus on getting into the read process, is that this is meant for discipleship application, or this is meant for discipleship groups. We'll get to discipleship application here in a little bit, but this is really meant for discipleship groups. A discipleship group is a small group consisting of 2 to 5 individuals, where you have one person serving as a mentor and teaching the other ones in the group what it means to be a follower of Jesus. And part of what they're going to teach is how to read, understand, and apply the Bible. And so the read process has been designed with discipleship in mind. And the third aspect of the read process that I think will be helpful is the idea of application, that I've added a few steps that help get to God-centered application. And we will get to those as we go over all of this. But again, those three things, that this is expandable by young and older or more mature believers, that this is really meant to help foster disciple making, and then really help lead us into God-centered application of the Bible as we read it. And so what does the read process, what is it? Well, read, each letter stands for a step in the process. So R stands for read the passage in context. It's the first thing you're going to do anytime you come up to a passage in the Bible. E stands for engage the text by the Spirit. That whenever we're reading the Bible, we don't want to read it like we would a newspaper or even a novel. That what we're wanting to do is really dig into the text, understand what the author meant, understand what God is saying in a passage, and we do that by engaging the text as we're thinking through it, and we're reading and rereading, and we're doing it by the Spirit, that God's Spirit is going to lead us in this process. The A stands for ask God focusing questions, and because these are in this part here is I think unique to the read process. I'm sure there are other people that have done similar things with Bible reading processes, but the asking God focusing questions, it's really going to help make sure that as we're engaging the text and as we're considering how to apply the text, that we do it in a God-centered, God-focused way, because the Bible is ultimately about God. It's not about you and it's not about me. The Bible is about God. It's about His grace, and it's about the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so these God-focusing questions will keep us centered on Him. And then the D stands for Discipleship Application. That whenever we look to apply the Bible, we want to apply it as disciples of Jesus. We want to get into a text and we want to understand, how does this help me follow Jesus? How does this transform me in a way that honors God? And the entire read process, the READ, each step will help, will work together so that we do this in a way that understands what the text actually means. We understand it in a God-centered, God-focused way, and that we apply the text in a way that helps us grow as disciples. So if this is something that interests you, you don't need much. You will need the workbook that I've put together. So this is a disciple's guide to read the Bible, and this is the Getting Started workbook. So this is just the first 6 weeks. We don't cover everything that there is to cover about the read process, but you will need that workbook. You can get that at everydaytheology.org/read, and that will be free to download. And then you will need a Bible. I would recommend you get a Bible translation that you're comfortable with, something you can read and understand yourself. But those are the only two things you're going to need for this. And I would say, something to watch the videos on. And I would, again, highly recommend you do this within a discipleship group. You can do it on your own, but you will get the full benefit if you do this in a discipleship group. If you're leading a discipleship group, I'm going to put together a separate video that discusses how you can use the read material within your discipleship group. And that will be at the everydaytheology.org/read site as well. If you have any questions, about this, or about the read process, or about Jesus and who is he, why is he so important, feel free to reach out to me at philip@everydaytheology.org. Just make sure you put one L in Philip. So again, that's philip@everydaytheology.org. And I look forward to you joining me on the next video.